Hi, partner. We did it. You did it.
We did it.
We did it.
So good.
All right, so we're going to just have a conversation about the book. Why'd you write the book?
Well, why I wrote the book is because Mike Kim told me to write a book. I mean, I was like, we're being honest, right?
Yeah.
Like, we're sitting there and he's like, you should write a book. And I'm like, why would I write a book? And number two, who would read that book? Right?
Oh, yeah, a lot of people are going to read this book.
But after we had the conversation about why to write a book, I began to think about it, and I'll just be very frank. I wanted to have something that would really impact people, and first and foremost, my family. Not from the standpoint of hearing my personal stories, because they know all that stuff. My family has been on the journey with me, but the things that you can do along the way that are fundamentals that I know work, and if you apply them, will change your life and make it better. That's what I want to do. I want to help people make their lives better.
Well, I mean, your life has been insanely impacted by books. Like when I go to your house, like there's literally just walls of books.
Yeah,
so how
libraries.
have books like shaped your life?
Yeah. You know, I started reading books. Well, I started reading books when I was just a little girl. And I remember like my very first book that I read. I grew up in a really abusive household, and I used to read this whole series called The Boxcar Kids. Oh. And there was like 5 kids that their parents were gone and they lived in a boxcar and they had all these crazy cool adventures and they became awesome, right? And I was like, wow, I want to live in a boxcar, right? Like that. I want to live in a boxcar. But then later on in life, you know, and I was like early on in like high school and as an entrepreneur, I was always into books. And I read some things like from Zig Ziglar and from Jim Rohn, and then I got a hold of John Maxwell. And these books have literally shaped who I am. Like the thoughts and the ideas that they planted, and then I would take that and run with that. And I love books. I love the feel of them. I love the smell of them. I love listening to them. I love that just one idea, if you just took one idea and it could drastically change your life, if I could do that for one person. Like Emerson has a quote, you know, if just one life breathed easier today because you existed, you lived your life well. And I think I want to live my life well. So, you know, I'm hoping that this will impact many, many people. But if there was just one, I can tell you, if there was just one where they would say at the end of their life, I couldn't write my story and leave what this did for me out, it would be, like, that's super emotional for me, but that would be worth it. It'd be worth the money. It'd be worth the time. And if that happens to be like my children or my grandchildren, or my great-grandchildren, oh, that God would give me that.
Yeah.
And for someone else's family, I want that same thing for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, books are such an interesting medium, right? Because I always say, like, a book, if there's just one good idea in a book, it was worth whatever you paid for it.
100%.
I will never... Like, oh, I can't buy this $15. I'm going to buy. No, if I get just one good idea from that book, a good idea is worth $15 and more. Yeah. Right?
I have 800 books on my iPad right now. 800. And you've seen what I have there in my home. Yeah. Like, you've been to my home, you've been to my office, there's a whole library. Like, I have to build another section in my house just for the books.
Well, I think you mentioned John. This is wild. John Maxwell. Right. And I recall my first John book was probably like 18 or 19. And my youth pastor at the time was talking about John Maxwell books. And I didn't like reading growing up because all we read was school stuff. Yeah. And I didn't think I liked reading. I was good at reading, but I didn't think I liked it. And
which is crazy because you're an author now. Like,
well, so are you too, right? It's kind of wild. And so I remember reading Developing the Leader Within You, or the Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. You know, there's so many.
Becoming a Person of Influence. Yeah. Oh, love that book.
And I remember, like, this was just speaking to me in such a unique way. So number one, it was speaking to me, but number two, it helped me fall in love with the medium of books.
Oh, yeah.
And here you are with John writing the foreword to your book, and we're in this studio where he records most of his stuff. I wish that was our YouTube plaque, but it's not.
They're like everything. Right? In the I'm like, wow.
And like I heard this guy say once, he was also an author and a course creator, or whatnot, and he said, no one has ever walked up to me and told me my online course changed their life. They've always told me it was my book.
Yeah.
And books are one of these unique things that outlive authors. You mentioned the kids, the grandkids.
Yeah.
I think all the kids in my life think I'm really cool because I wrote a book.
I know. I just literally, we just watched this video of your niece interviewing you, and I was like, wow, that is amazing.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
So I want to ask you a little bit about this process, because it was a little bit difficult for me to get you to finally say yes. I remember we first met in Orlando, I think it was 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2019.
March of 2019.
And here we are all these years later. And I remember when I met you, I was like, this girl's got something. She's meant to impact a lot of people. Now, I don't say that.
Yeah.
I've met a lot of people. Some I've seen and met, and they're meant to impact like several hundred or 1,000. They're more kind of quiet behind the scenes. And there are others that I always felt like they were made for stages. They were made to speak to a lot of people. John's one of them, right? You see that guy speak in a.
It's an anointing. It's an anointing, actually.
Yeah, you speak like this room is too small.
Yeah.
For this person's presence, and I always felt like you had that. And
Thank you.
We had just met, and then I got to know a little bit more about what you did, and then I somehow manipulated you into starting a podcast. That was my plan.
You totally did. Remember the day he says, you remember the day you said to me, you're like, you should do a podcast. I'm like, what's a podcast? Yeah. I literally said to you, what's a podcast? He goes, this is a podcast. It's like a radio show. He like, remember you had to explain it to me? I was like, I've never listened to a podcast. I've always read books. I never listened. So anyway, that was hysterical.
And I was like, you like talking, right? You're like, yeah, I love talking. I was like, great, you should start a podcast. Because I knew I wouldn't get you to sit down and type on a keyboard. So there's a couple of different types of authors, right? There are authors who their fingers are on the keyboard like the whole time. They have to type in every keystroke.
Yeah.
There are others who hire people like me to help them like flesh out their ideas. And then
that's me.
And then there are others like, I just never want to touch a keyboard ever.
That's also me.
Right? And so the only way to get the information out is to get you talking.
Yeah.
Right. But no one can track you down. You're all over the world all the time. Right. So
I do like to travel. I like to go take territory. Let's go take some territory.
Yeah. So I remember I got you doing the podcast, and you did like a lot of episodes.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, hey, let's turn this into a book. And you were like, oh, I can't sit down and write a book. I was like, no, you're not going to do that. You and your laptop are not going to ever meet.
Yeah.
Right? But these are your words. These are your experiences, your stories, your concepts. And you had to read it after we worked on the manuscript.
Like 60 times.
Yeah. So I want to ask you about that. What were some of the surprises in the process of you fleshing out, mapping out, writing this book, good or bad, or somewhere in between? What kind of took you by surprise?
Well, that's a big one for me, actually, because there was several things along the way. Like, the first one was, it's really hard to write a book. Like, it's really hard. Like, I had no idea. You know, you see these authors and they've written like 10, 20, 30 books. And I'm like, at the end of this, I was just like, oh my God, you just gave your life. You know, like, that was really surprising for me, because I thought, oh, because podcasting has been really easy. And I'm kind of a one-shot wonder. I literally go into, people think I have this big fancy studio, like that I'm sitting in something like this. I do not. I have a little tiny closet in my house, like surrounded with like coats and jackets to hit the sound. And I could sit there for hours podcasting, because you gave me great advice. And you said, just talk to them like they're their friends sitting at the bar stool next to you, like we're doing.
Yeah.
And you're just sharing based on a question that they asked you. And so that's what I did for like several hundred episodes. And so I was like, what do I know? What have I learned? Where did I get beat up along the way? And the book was also like a real challenge for me in those areas, because there is so much I want to share with people. Like all the things I had to leave out of this book. Because I'm like, this thing is going to be like this big. It's going to be like a 700-page novel, and no one's going to read that. I'm really really actually want to help people. That's the whole reason you write a book, is to really help people and to give them something that they can grasp onto and take that one idea. Or if we're really, really fortunate, what if they take 5? What if they took 5 principles and things that they could apply? So that was a surprise for me on how much, even now as I think about it, I look at it and I was like, oh, I want to tell them so much more. And then also the evolving process, because we started this process like 3 years ago. We started 3 years ago, and now it's finally coming to the world. So when we started it, who I was even 3 years ago versus who I am now and what I've learned in the last 3 years. Like, I'm thinking about my next 5 books, not my next 1 book. I've got like 5 more books, and I'm going, oh, and we need to help them with this. And oh, these are the things I'm getting right now. So that was really surprising for me too, because I was like, remember when we first started talking, you came down, you flew down to my house, we're sitting on my patio, sitting out by the pool, and you're interviewing me, and I'm like, this is stupid. Why are we doing this? And you're just like, no, this is going to be good. And I'm like, okay. So it was a real surprise. It was a real surprise how much you were able to pull out of me in the conversations. The other thing, I didn't want anyone to look at my story and go, well, I didn't go through that, so I can't relate. So that was a big thing for me as we were going through it. Because if you haven't gone through death or divorce or kids on drugs or, financial ruin, I've been through financial ruin. Like, if you haven't been through somebody stealing your credit and the SEC coming in to shut you down, which is kind of a big deal in the financial services world. Like, if you haven't been through, I went from an 800 credit score to a 480 and now I got to clean it up in 6 weeks. You're just like, but thinking about the person on the other side that would be reading it and being like, I really want to help them. So one of the surprises for me was how vulnerable I had to get in that, to be like, I didn't want it to suck. And not necessarily from ego, because most of the time, I'll just tell you, most of the time I don't really care. I don't really care what you think. This is my journey. It's where I've been through. And if you think I'm too much or you think I'm not enough, that's your deal, not mine. Like, go with God. Like, I wish you well, right? Yeah. But I really wanted to serve them in a way that would be like, if I was sitting next to you, take my hand, like, let me show you, you don't have to sit in the struggle. You don't have to sit there for very long. I do think you have to sometimes sit there because you learn something when you're in the struggle. But beyond that, there's some really cool things along the way. So being a little vulnerable in that, to say, God, Mike, what if I do this and it sucks? And you're like, it's not going to suck. It's going to be good. Like, how many times did I call you and I'm like, Mike, what are we doing here?
I mean, like several times a week or a day.
For 3 years.
Where we were on the process. But I want to say that because like you're definitely, even right now, the emotions are hitting you. And I remember telling you, if you feel it, the reader will feel it. Yeah. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't understand when they're writing a book, especially if it's a nonfiction book. They don't understand. And I know we're in this age of AI and everyone's worried that AI is going to just eat everybody's lunch. It can't live your stories. It can't.
That's right.
These things that you experienced and that tug at your emotions and your heart, and not just the lessons you want people to learn, but the lessons you earned as a result of the experiences is what people have to feel. You mentioned, I'm not who I was 3 years ago. Well, yeah, that's normal for people like us. Mm-hmm. You're growth oriented.
Yeah.
So that's why the books often lag behind in the journey. And what's interesting, I experienced this with my own books, is that I'm writing from a place I have already outgrown, but have to revisit, because that's where the emotion and the energy and the pain and the solutions and the resurgence and the resurrection come from. And I remember telling you, you're going to have to tell these stories, not just in the book, but for a couple years after the book comes out. Yeah. And that's why I don't believe people can write books that really help people when they're still operating from a place of woundedness.
Yeah.
And that gaping open wound. But you have scars that have closed and healed, right? And you've shared these things. And that's why it is difficult. I remember sitting with you on that patio, and a book represents, if you really think about a book, it represents a person's clearest, most distilled, organized thinking. Like, how many people have you looked at on YouTube, listened to a podcast, watched a bunch of their social videos and said, I'm going to go buy their book? Why would you do that? It's because there's so much content out there. You want the most distilled, best version. That's what books still are. And so it's interesting when I was listening to your podcast, I listened to like every episode of your show. I was a fan first because I was just helping you launch the show.
Yeah.
And then I was just listening to the podcast, and I just took several hundred episodes, and I'm combing through it. And I've never told you this. Now I'm going to let the cat out of the bag.
Oh, man. Oh, boy.
No, but this is a good thing. You say the same core concepts over and over again.
Yeah.
But with different clothes on them, different cover on it, a different dressing, a different outfit. And that's what I was looking for.
Fundamentals.
Like, what are the things that she keeps saying? 5 P's, 5 F's, 5 Z's, 5 to 13 this. And I'm like, okay, let me figure out and distill this. And I remember when we were sitting down together at your house, and this was important for us to do in person. Like, there's no way we're going to do this over a Zoom call.
Yeah.
Right? Because you need to feel the energy. I need to feel the energy, see where you're emoting. Right? And I remember saying, hey, so what if we have a mutual friend, we just used her as an avatar, she doesn't know. I'm like, what if she was sitting here right now? What would you tell her step by step where she needs to start? She's a pretty successful business owner, but she's kind of working too much. Her hair's on fire. How do we get such and such to climb out of this? And then you just like locked in. I felt like I was watching you talk to a client.
Yeah.
Well, that's exactly what we want in the book.
It's what we did in the book, actually. It's literally what we did. Like, when I was reading through it, and I was thinking about, because I think the stories are part of it too. It's the connecting points. Like, this is real life. So there's the practical, tactical, apply these things. And then there's the, what did you learn with this along the way? Like, with this piece of one of the stories that I was just telling in studio here day before yesterday, and I take myself back to that place of where I was. And the emotion is there, and I gotta I have to watch it because I know I'm not there anymore, and I'm good. I'm good, right? And I remind myself, it's okay. It's good. But as I was thinking about her, and I remember this day when we're sitting on this years ago now, as I'm sitting on the patio with you, and I remember seeing her face and saying, let me put myself in her shoes. Knowing what I know and what I've learned along the way and what I know works, what I absolutely know works. What would I do if I was you? What would I do if I was sitting in your shoes and you wanted to go from here to there, or and maybe you don't even know the right question to ask. So even putting the right questions out there, because sometimes people in that space, when you're I'm a D, baby. In the disc, I'm a D. I'm type A personality. I'm 100 miles an hour with my face on fire. You either get on the party bus or we're blowing by. And I've had to slow down and go, wait a minute. If I want to live a rich life, what does a rich life really look like? Because there's a lot of really wealthy people that I've worked with in 30 years that I see now in the last season of their life that live with full-on regret. Full-on regret. And I never, ever want to be part of that regret piece for anyone's life. I want to be part of that, is stand on my shoulders and be a hope dealer, that helping those other people evolve so that at the end of their life, they look back and go, wow, I really did the best I could. And with what I was given, and look at the masterpiece my life has been, with all the good, with all the bad, with all the ugly. And so I picture her face. We called her Monica. Right? Remember? We called her Monica. And I picture Monica's face, and I'm like, girl, don't wake up 15 years from now having built your empire, but having no rich life, emotionally, relationally, physically, financially, spiritually, having nothing where you go, God, every memory I had, whether it was good or bad, good or tough days, challenges or, growth days, right? So I I think about Monica like often, even now as I'm thinking about how do I best help her now, whether it's in a video we do or in this process with our workbook. I'm saying, what does Monica need to see in the workbook today? You know?
Yeah. I think in the same way that you're connecting with this avatar, this client, this representation of who's reading the book, in the same way when you're writing, my job is to try to connect that same emotion to the reader because they're not sitting physically with you. They're not even watching on a video and hearing your mannerisms and seeing your mannerisms and stuff. And so what I noticed with you, because you're such a talker, which is great, but you're an energy talker.
Yeah.
You're not a descriptive talker.
Yes.
You're like, oh my God, this guy came in and I was just eating ice cream and watching Netflix and my sister just dragged me out of bed and she made me go to this, bar. And
this crappy dive bar. Not even a bar. It was like a crappy dive bar.
And that's exactly how you talk, but I can't put that in the book because then it'll make your sister look bad. Like, Melly, I'm looking forward to meeting Melly because we've never met. It's like, okay, she took me to a crappy dive bar and I'm like, how do I say this? Like, how do I describe it?
How do you describe the smell of stale beer and sweat?
And so that's what I wrote. I wrote like it was a Friday night and my sister dragged me out and it's like, Marissa, it's 9 p.m. We are going out. You are depressed and sad.
Oh, God.
Right after the divorce.
So true.
And it's like, I think
total truth, by the way. Total, like it happened exactly that way.
Yeah, and I put that in because those specifics are so important to paint a picture in the mind of the reader. And I think I wrote something. I don't have it in front of me, but it was something like she brought me to this bar that had like wood floors, dollar beers, and smelled like regret.
Yeah, well, it absolutely smelled like regret.
And then when we're describing James, this is one of my favorite parts of the book, the first chapter, right? And, this guy, you told me, like, this guy I kept asking me out to dance. It was so annoying. And I was like, how do I convey this? And finally, your sister just shoves you on the floor and this guy's tossing you around and you kept describing him as Thor.
Yeah.
And then I wrote a funny sentence. It was like, I didn't know Thor lived in North Dakota. And that was a way to get your humor because you have this big personality.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things is when people write nonfiction books, it's so dry.
Yeah.
And they use the same kind of language to describe these stories. And like, I really wanted them to feel like that's a story that frames the chapter, but you have to frame it so that it really pulls the reader in. Another thing, like, so I remember you were like, are we really spending like a paragraph or two describing the pantry in my house? And I'm like, yeah, we are, because I want people to know you're like
said
this
by
hoarder.
Everyone who's grown up poor. They know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
They know what I'm poor people who now have food and money, they have a pantry. I know. I'm convinced of it.
And I remember that's the first thing I saw the first time I met you before you moved down to the place in Florida, right?
Yeah,
and,
in North Dakota. You flew up to North Dakota on my home.
And you showed me the pantry. And I'm like, how do I set this up? That story needs to go into the book.
Yeah.
The spaghetti that you make needs to go in, right? It's like there are elements of you now. People are going to want to see your pantry. You know this, right? They're going to want you to shoot video in front of the pantry.
So
I'm just telling you. But it was so like, how do we frame this? And I remember you just were like, dude, just frame it however you want. Like you're writing this part or whatever. And I opened with the story of preppers, doomsday preppers, right?
It's so me.
Yeah, and it's like my kids joke that I'm a doomsday prepper.
They do.
And if you see my pantry, you'll see what. But I wanted people to feel like I just walked into Marissa's home.
Yeah.
She's not just this, founder of this crazy financial firm and owns 97 businesses. Not quite 97.
Seven
But what
business.
people can relate to is a pantry. What people can relate to is like the devastation after a big tragedy in your life and go into a place that smells like dollar beers and regret, right? So it's like, so I was trying to find these aspects of your life that you actually talk about very often on your podcast. Mm-hmm. You talk about, and everyone who comes over, you tell them about the pantry and you tell them about your spaghetti sauce that I've had. And it's like, okay, let me add in secret. It's a hint of brown sugar.
Yeah.
And so how does that make you feel?
Also, that's a real thing, by the way.
I know.
If you're going to have spaghetti sauce, no matter what kind, just a little hint of brown sugar is going to make your day better. It is just going to make so.
So how does it feel now that people know these kind of like more intimate details of your life? You know, I almost thought about putting like what kind of ice cream you ate, but I was like, no, that's besides the point. Like just eating a tub of ice cream, watching Netflix under the covers, getting shoved onto the dance floor, getting thrown around like a rag doll, you know, learning to dance that one night. The pantry story was always really interesting. It's like, this is a book on finance and business finance, like snooze, right? Like it's just I know every business owner because I'm like this, right? It's like, oh, getting your finances in order is like your teacher telling you to get better grades or do your homework or your parents to clean your room. It's not fun.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guilt and emotion around
shame.
it. Yeah. But then I was like, how do I get your personality? How do we get your personality into the book to make it feel like relatable and fun and like they're getting to know you? How does that feel now? And that this stuff is going to be out there for the world to see forever now.
Yeah.
By the way, how's that feel?
You know, I was really intentional at the front end of this with the one thing that I did before, and I never told you this, but before you came down, I spent like a solid week just, I'm a person of faith, so I just tell people, you know, relax, take a deep breath, like relax. Okay, I'm not here converting you, I'm just telling my story, so just everybody chill out. But I'm a person of faith, so I took like a solid week before you got there, like on my knees, just praying. I was like, you know, if I'm going to go down this road, I want to really walk in the light. I want to live in like where real people live. You know, like I tell people, if you know me well, you know, I love Jesus, but I swear a little. So just relax.
It's not a little.
Just, okay, I swear.
It's a lot.
I do. I feel better sometimes. It's like a...
I was thinking about dropping a couple in the manuscript, but I don't think the publisher would have.
No, thank you. Thank you for not doing that. My grandkids are going to read this thing.
They already know you swear.
I know. I try.
What you're trying to hide.
I try really hard with this. I really do. I have nicer swear words now, though. Anyway, I remember like sitting on my knees for a solid week, going, okay, all right, is this really something that I should be doing? Like, because I believe very strongly, like it's either a distraction for your life or it's a direction. Distraction or direction. So I'm always looking, and I'm really honed into take my next step. Like, you know, obedience this year is my number one word, is obedience. So if I'm walking in obedience, even if it's uncomfortable, but I really want to know them. I'm a people person. I really want to know them. Like if I could sit down with every one of the readers and say, tell me your story. How can I serve you? How can I actually really help you? Like wherever you're at, if you're a startup today, if you're trying to scale up today, if you're trying to do your exit strategy today, if you're looking at generationally how you want to make it, keep it, multiply it, or pass it on, like, and really be a good steward of what you have. Really be for my world, I call it a territory taker, right? Like you want to be a territory taker. You want to take back your life. You want to take back your family. You want to take back your community. You want to take back, like you want to take it back and let those people walk in the light too. So that piece of having people know that about me, I'm actually really good with that. I wish that I could have every reader come to my house and live real life with me. Like you've sat at my table, you know what we do at night. Like we hold hands, we pray, we say grace over our meal, and you've sat with me and my family, and then we do best thing, worst thing, right? And now around the table, everybody in our family and all of our friends who may have come as guests, but now they're going to leave as friends and family. When you know, my children know you, my grandchildren know you, my world knows you, and you leave as friends. And so when we say grace and then we say, hey, what was the best thing of your day? What was the worst thing of your day? You don't have to have a worst thing, but you got to have a best thing. Like, I want to do that with the people that read the book. Now, granted, that probably isn't going to work, but if I could do that, if I could spend a day with them and have them spend a day with me, I would say, listen, I am no different than you. I may have had different experiences along the way, and I may have made different choices than you've made up until now. But I am no different than you. We are literally all just humans on this experience trying to figure it out along the way with the good, the bad, the ugly that we've gone through. And then we say, what are you going to do with that? Are you going to let it destroy you? Or are you going to go take that thing and take the rock that was used to try to kill you or crush you and stand on that sucker and say, I own the rock, right? Like, it's my rock now. That is my rock. I'm taking it back. I want that for those people.
Right.
So if I have to be like if I have to tell that story to make sure that they get, I love you more than the things that crushed me at one point and I had to work back from. Because we all have something, no matter where you're at. I don't care if you're living in the mansion with the silver spoon or you are literally walking those ditches trying to pick up your cans and bottles today to go get the money to buy a resource to figure it out.
Which you did, and we put that in the book.
Yeah.
Right. And there's a lot there. Like, I want to kind of end with this. No, you can't bring everyone to the house, but everyone can bring you to their house. And that's the book. And when I first met you, there was something about you that I just knew that you were someone designed to reach a lot of people. And you already have. Mm-hmm. It's just not in the public for the world to see, because I knew your career and what you've done already as a speaker.
Well, the career is really private too. Like the world that I live in, I can't tell necessarily the people I've worked with or the stories I've done. I can't. I'm bound by confidentiality.
Yeah. But really, this was me just looking at you as a friend. And I was like, she is going to regret it at the end of her life if she doesn't write a book. And I remember saying those things to you, but you didn't really, you're like, what? No, I want to go build another school and buy another mountain and build more schools. And I'm like, you can do all of that and this. Like, it's a both and. It's not an either or. Yeah. And this thing's going to take a little bit more time, and it's going to take a lot of courage to share these stories and revisit these emotions. Writing a book is never easy. I've never met anybody that said it was easy. I hated every moment of writing my own book, but I love having a book. I love the impact that it's made and that it continues to have, and you will too. And that was one of the gifts that I felt like I could give to you.
Thank you.
Like, as a friend, because
thank you.
Yeah, because it's like you can't buy a book. You can't just go on eBay and like, here's my book, right? I mean, you could do it with AI. It'll be really crappy. But this is like your spaghetti sauce in this book. It's like tender, loving care. It's like the real thing. It's like, there's a term in Korean when we make food. It's like the love of the hand when you're making it. And so it was really important when we were working on this that we had a lot of those elements in there, because this is going to outlive you. Yeah. This book is going to outlive you. It won't ever go away. And that's a really incredible thing. And I've met people, so have you, very wealthy, successful, have all the toys, have all the things, and they look back, and this is why they come to us for coaching. Yeah. Individually and together. What is my life for? What's the significance? Yeah. And it's like, I want my wisdom, my life, my experiences to be in something tangible that I can give to people. I remember feeling that, crying, like when I remember, because I don't have natural kids, right? So I remember, like, I got the book in the mail, and I held it up, and I was like, all that work for this little thing? And then I went, all that work for this little thing. This little thing is going to go to a lot of places that I'll never be able to go. And it's the same for you, And so I just want to just say, awesome job. Commend you for like the courage to just kind of live step by step by faith through this. Now you're already like, oh, I got 3 other book titles. I'm like, whoa, You're now on me.
I'm like, when are we doing this one, Mike? Let's go.
Like,
Let's
I got
go.
the title.
They are waiting for this. This is the stuff people need right now.
I need a vacation.
It's like,
but no,
I'll send you to Costa Rica. You can go to the retreat center. It'll be great.
Yeah. So this is awesome. So well done. I'm so proud of you, really, because you have done something that most people only dream about doing, and you made it happen. You cut out time. You said a distraction right? Like a book is actually a really big distraction from someone's everyday business. And I say this as a speaker, coach, expert, marketer.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to have to shelve a lot of things to birth this thing. It's like being pregnant and giving birth. And that, ladies,
it's longer. Just FYI, as a woman who has had 3 children, it is longer than giving birth. It is like the last month of your pregnancy for 3 years. That is what it feels like.
And ladies, don't get that was not my analogy. That was my editor, who is a woman, and she said, "Mike, this is like you having a baby." I was like, "Out of your mouth, not mine." I don't want to be accused of
true story.
Being,
this is true.
But yeah, you did amazing. This has been so fun to revisit kind of this journey, and I can see the smile on your face. And this is going to be so cool. People walking up to you to continue. I read your book. Like your encouragement cup is gonna overflow. So it's so cool that we did this.
Well, I want to encourage them, and I also want to say thank you to you, because I wouldn't be sitting here talking about the book if you wouldn't have just kind of been a hounder. Sorry, there's probably a better word.
Do it. I'm like, James,
you got to do this. Yeah,
you're someone who needs to be asked out a lot of times, I guess, for you to say yes. It's let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this.
It's a real thing. Because I often think the impact part of that, and I think about just some of my mentors and the books that I've read, and you talked about John Maxwell about that. The influence and the reach that has happened from him just being steadfast and obedient to writing things that people need. They really need. Like, that's where we came from. And I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have started the podcast had you not said, you should do a podcast. And I definitely wouldn't, I still would have impact. I still would be helping people. And that feeds my soul, because I'm in a space right now. I'm just going to sit down. He had said one time to me, when you can afford to quit, you can't afford to quit.
Yeah, that's great. I love that.
And you need other people around you. You need other people around you. That's what you did this for me. You need other people around you that see something and say, hey, get moving in this area, because you don't want to live life to the level of, hey, you did well, but you're 80 years old now, and now you've regretted something that you could have done, which took something along the way. There's always a season of sacrifice. So we went through a season of sacrifice with that, but I wouldn't have done that without you. And I wouldn't have been doing most of these things that I'm doing right now without you saying, hey, wait a minute. How many more people can you serve if you do it this way, as opposed to the way you were doing it? So I think God sends exactly who you need. And I hope that the book does this for someone else, that they go, man, I really needed to hear that one thing at the season I'm in. And I hope they come back and revisit it, because this book is seasons. This book is not just like this one time in my world. It's like the seasons that developed not to be corny or anything, but like truly a rich life. Like I truly have the richest life of anyone I know. It is my best life, with all of the things that went right, all the good days, all the growth days. It's kind of below the line days and above the line days. I wouldn't have those things today had I not had other people that helped me along the way. So we all drink from somebody else as well. Thanks for letting me do that. Yeah. And I want to say thank you, because I love you and I'm grateful for you.
Well, I love you. I'm honored, and I wasn't going to let anybody else do this with you. You remember I said that all the time. I don't trust any of these jokers.
I was like, all right, so find me somebody that can help me write this book.
No, yeah, you're looking at him. You're going to have to wait till I get a little bit more time. You can actually give this but yeah, I do that for my friends. Yeah. I don't. These aren't client projects for me. These are friends. These are the lifers.
Grateful.
And I've done it for a handful of people, and this is one of them. So great job.
Yeah. Great job, us.
Yeah.
Look at where we're going now.
Yeah.
And great job to the readers.
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it. Let Marissa know, please.
Yeah, please. Like, connect with me on that. I want to hear the stories.
Just
like
love bombs.
what
DMs
what things came out of here where you go, that really helped me, because that feeds my soul. You know, money, all of those different things that happen in the world around us, those things all pass away. But when you know there's somebody in your world that you go, wow, that made a difference for me. Like, that's what I want for you. I want that for you. So anyway.
LiveLifeRichBook.com. Everywhere books are sold. There's your hype.
Thanks for being with us.
Thanks.